Hi, and welcome to another episode of Words with Al. In today's episode, we are going to look at a very special sound, a very special sound cluster. For you guys who are new, this has been a long journey um, where I have been gathering lots of words, testing sounds, testing language development itself and doing a discourse analysis on words, concepts, and ideas that existed within a specific region or time, and for a specific people, group of people. These discoveries have led me to some very strange findings, some findings that are beautiful, according to my view, because they connect us. They connect us in ways that we did not know existed. I know that we are all carry an identity now as an Australian or a German or a Scottish or maybe you're Croatian, Ukrainian, etc., etc. Very many nationalities, because now in these times we exist in the modern times, the times of nationalities and the game of civilization. But once upon a time, that was not the case. Once upon a time, we were driven by knowledge, by realization of our own existence. So the realizations that we had would later form our words. And this knowledge would later become our language. So without further ado, let's go on. To any Albanians speaking out there, this Qi sound will make you probably laugh because you will instantly think of the F word. But this is not the only semantic that this word or sound carries. This sound carries many more semantics. Okay, so let's go on. The story of Qi. Qi! All right. So let's begin with just the basics first. We are looking at the phonetic core. The phonetic core of the Qi sound. Because within Qi, we will find Qi, Chi, G, J, Z, Z, and we will find very many, many, many words within this sound cluster. Okay? Meaning that this sound is very old. This is old. And we share this knowledge. Okay. So, Qi is the sound of the animating principle. It expresses the breath of life, the unseen force, and the vital union between form and energy. It is the breath of creation, the charge of spirit. Qi, 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 Qi. It is literally the heartbeat. Okay? It's the heartbeat. Yeah. And the Albanian Qi, in its raw and original meaning, is not separate from this. Okay? So Albanian now is the only um, European European language that carries this word, this sound, and has many other, very many other words with this sound. None of the other European languages have that. What happened here? Wait, before we begin, what happened here? Did this sound spread? This knowledge, was this spread from Asia to the Albanian people? Because this is very old. The Albanians and the Asiatic people have not been in contact for a long time. So what happened here? Are they the same people? Were they once the same people? Or did the word travel? My findings, well, leads me, does not necessarily lead me that they were once the same people. Well, actually it does. Yes, it does. They were once the same people. But a very long time back, they, they were. Uh, the spread, at the distance plus time created the genetical pool that we have. We mustn't forget that. Genetics can change rather fast if our environment is drastically different, and our diet or our behavior, because all these things are tied up, and they will change the genetical expression. Okay, yeah. As above, so below. Remember that. Okay, the laws of Hermeticism. I don't know why I introduced this now to you, but yes, that is the law. These are the laws of life. As above, so below. That is always the case. We cannot escape that. Okay. But yes, so how did this happen? Why do not academics know about this? And the reason for that is because they are overly focused on the semantics, on the course, like on the specific semantic, which then makes them to conclude that no, they are not related, because this is just a coincidence that they share this sound, because this means something else in this language than in the other. But that is not really how language development occur, or just development itself. Because remember that we're developing a body and a mind and our intellect and our understanding of existence, of our own being. So these are all tied up. And from this one idea, this one realization, came very many others. Or one knowledge created 10 other fields of knowledge. And thus words grew. Right? That does not mean that they did not originate from the same root. So that is why I land on that these people must have shared this sound, but a very long time back. Or that they met, because I don't know. I don't know all the written history. We don't know what happened before in prehistory. We don't know. But we do know that, well, we will see what we do know. We will see that the Albanian language is very closely tied to the ancient languages. And perhaps that this is how this link, um, that the Albanian is the link between the old and the new. But we will see that now. But for the Albanian speaking people, this sound was essential, because this sound would form, and it is not, don't forget what the sexual intercourse is. It is the primary thing that they could realize as a man and woman, because they were ultimately making love. They were always loving each other. So Qi, intercourse, fucking, that is what they did, with love. It wasn't only animalistic, like it is today, because now there's so many. We become a bit like redundant. Okay, so we kind of like lost value, but doesn't matter. Okay, sorry, I'm just sharing my perspective here. Okay, so this sound, this essential sound, this sound, this love, union, energy, sound, would create five other words, five other words that would become very significant for European words. The ch sound cluster in Albanian. These five consonant vowels, cha, che, chu, cho, chi, appear to be appear to be semantic generators, each spawning a web of meanings. deeply tied to existence, identity, action, and origin. Root, meaning in Albanian, function, semantic field, possible Indo-European echoes. So cha is the root word of what. Cha, what, wa, va, vas, what, va. Okay? Yeah, it is. We will come to see that. We will go more in depth. And we also see this in dialects because va in the Scandinavian ones is ka, cha, va, ka. Okay. Wa. Yeah, what? What? Now that's what is very new, okay, very modern. Wa. They didn't always say what in the way that we do today. Okay. And cha would become that, this, here, it. Cha. And as you can see there, the French che or que and Spanish que. Um, and then you have chu, chu, get up, rise, move. And then you have the English, or not the English, but I think it's Spanish, quo, where, and qui, who. But then you have quicken. This is very funny. Chu ik, quick. I don't know whether that is true or not, but it's very funny. Stand up and leave. That is what it means in Albanian. Chu ik, quick. Get up and leave, like disappear fast. Too weak. Okay, but that is probably just maybe that is a coincidence, maybe not. We don't know that because that's language morphs with time, and those people that are responsible for those changes, they just do it subconsciously, like naturally. They just go with the flow of the change and how people start using words differently, or reading differently, or pronouncing things differently, and then that will slowly become a new standard for that group. And but they're not aware of it whilst it's happening. That's why tracing this development back has been very difficult, but now it's really not so difficult anymore. This knowledge is available to us all. It depends just whether you're, you know, swift enough. Okay. And then this words, yeah, we have more. We have cho and chi, right? Chi is where we also find very many other words, and we will even see that this chi, this ch sound, would become other sounds like k or j. So that will create a lot, many more words. But this seems to be a very first type of word. And the reason why I land that this sound is older than religion is because this is we share this with the Asiatic people, and this was prior to religion, right? So this sound contains a lot of words pertaining to the most essential, basic, existential reality for man and woman. So it's cha, what, that, this, it, get up, rise, move, raise, bring, send, transfer, sex, union, love, power. Right. Literally the first things you could realize as an existence. So this ch sound is old. So the case of this is now how this sound becomes even philosophical in the Albanian language, but not in the other European languages, because we do not find obviously the sound, but we do find words for them too, obviously later on. But here we have Qenia, Qenia, and Qenia. So we have being coming from the ch sound. There's that. This, that is being, creature. And Qenia is also existence, presence. So this is a very philosophical idea, or I don't know how to make this now, but this philosophical idea that preceded much of the recent history, and ideas that would later come. and be part of or become part of the European identity. Yes. So here the Che base is clearly connected to existence itself, perhaps akin to, and not, it's not. Essentia, it is, well, I will explain this a bit further. But none of these, no, it's not. And then you have the other ones. But unlike in those languages where abstract forms are built from PIU roots like S and Bu, Albanian forms a whole semantic cloud from Q roots, especially Ch and Chi. It does. So, and we will see now how this is actually the root for very many of the European ones. I will just go past this. You can pause it and look at it. This is what we get from just the phonosemantic interpretation. But we will go further. And this is now where it gets very interesting, because this ch sound would become the actual word for all the other sounds. Because now this becomes the ke, the qua, the qua, the quad, the quid, the ka, the che, the que. Very many what, where, which, what, when. So now we're getting all these basic, essential words. So, yes. And this is broad implications. Now we have this. Yeah, I will go further in depth in that too. But we did not know this. We did not know where the where, what, which, that, where these sounds, these words came from, or especially the Germanic ones, because they're closer to the Albanians than the English now. The English are, well, they're not really. They're not. We will see that the English have evolved a bit more. You could say evolved, developed, because language is not really evolving. It is evolving too, but not in that sense as evolution itself. But yes, it is growing. So what this suggests, Albanian may preserve a deep proto-linguistic stratum, a sound-based metaphysical system where phonemes generate meaning through vibration rather than only morphology. Indeed, we mustn't forget that we are in a body and that this body is universally shared. In a sense, sure, our association to sound are now different, but the sound itself is the sound. So A is still A and O is still O. O, ah, that is universally heard as the same sound. Yes. You are not just analyzing roots, you're rediscovering a language of existence. Sure, it is. It is. So here we see how Albanian built these sounds, made these words, built these words from an idea that they share with all of Asia. So these people were meditating. This chi is a meditation. It's a recognition of the heartbeat, of oneness with the heartbeat of all things. That's unbelievable. So then this, yeah, so this is what would later become of this cha, cha, cha sound. And these would form all these other sounds, these other words. What, was, va, quid, ke, kto, cho. All of this from cha. The cha root is preserved phonetically and semantically across Indo-European, especially in question form. Even the PIE reconstructed roots quo and que resemble cha and che. Yes, because it wasn't ke first. Ke would later become the sound in the Latin speaking group, which later word was transferred to the Germanic tribes who conquered Rome and took over that language, because they did not have a language of their own. They didn't. That was the language they had. That was the language everyone had. because we were one family. Remember, we were spreading and spreading, and thus um, uh, other forms, other variants of the same language developed. But back in those days, so early in our stages of development, those differences were not that big. They weren't. Our language development actually happened very slow, super slow, like ridiculously slow. It's just these modern times that it has really sped up. But we are unaware of that. We don't know that. But I will continue now. And then this would later also become, and the ch sound here, or h, would become h. Ch, h. We have that also now in Albanian. Huh. Matter, huh. Take it. Huh. The h sound became the, literally the h became the har in Scandinavian. Har, matter, har. And then that would later become the the hither, the English hither, and then that would become the modern here, here. See, it is very logical. It is self-explanatory. It's literally self-explanatory if you are aware of it. If you know sound and are well, a bit meticulous and know language and understand ideas, then this is very obvious to you. But as you can see here, it indeed evolved. But what we see here is that this ch sound would later become k with the Latin, or first with the Greek, because the Greek would evolve or develop, and then fall, and then that group would become the Latins, Rome, right? Because knowledge spread and moved. That wealth and power moved across people, gathering lots of new people and then spreading up, creating new stuff as it went along. But then it always fell and then it continued somewhere else. And then those other people would flock around that city now. Right. That is how it went. So inside the Q sound, the ch sound root seems to morph into h or soft k sounds, and so it did, but retains its pointing demonstrative existential function. The shift from ch to h is a phonological drift, especially in Germanic and Romance languages. Exactly what we see. And then cho will become the other ones. Sto, sta, stand. So we have the cho, sto, sto, even the Albanian sto, which means to add up. Sto. But that came from cho. Cho was first, and then sto would be added or may be made. Because, yes, yes, that is how it went. The ch sound will be divided into sh and t. Well, we'll get into that because that is how language further developed. But this sound would later is the root sound of stand up. Cho, st, st. The stores, as you can see here, you can see this going through all these, but as phonetically, it is the same as cho. Cho, it's just that this was split into st, and then suddenly we get these other ones. Yeah, because remember that our language is like a city. You begin with a small brick, and then you get into very big words as civilization grows. Because yeah, that is how it works. The length almost just increases with some people, and during some times they have ridiculous lengths of well, pronouncing a word or idea. But you can read the rest here, and then I will continue. Conclusion: a phonetic conceptual map. What we see here is these Q roots may form one of the oldest living semantic frameworks in Eurasian language, preserved most clearly in Albanian and echoed throughout Indo-European languages. So there you go. This is the beginning of our understanding of this development. and it's not stopping. This is not the end. But I will just take a little break here, and then I will continue on with the second part, because this is just going to grow and grow and grow. And I did not have any idea that I would stumble upon this, but here we are now. So thank you for listening so far, and see you in a bit. All right, guys. So welcome back again, and now we're continuing on the next slides, and this is where it becomes now very interesting. This is now how we also see that the Albanian language shares grammatical feature with the Asiatic people and even Caucasus, because of well, inflection. So Albanian inflectional genius from statement to question, and this would also be replicated, but not in the same way in the European ones. They would just make new words instead of using inflection, because they did not use that grammatical feature. They developed something else. But this is when we get ch, chka. Okay, so now we get suddenly a question. So from what, cha, cha, that, this, we get chka, chka, chka. Suddenly we get the question. This transformation shows that adding a consonant, infix, or suffix can flip existential certainty into inquiry or contrast. Phonosemantic insight. Here we got the question challenge. Indeed, this pattern explains how questions evolve from affirmations by adding tension through a small phonetic twist. Okay, so suddenly we're just adding one letter, one more sound, and then this becomes a question and not a statement. Broader Indo-European parallels. This exact principle is preserved in ancient Indo-European grammar, right? Um, Kidest, Sanskrit, Kim Ashti, and then Greek Tieshti. So the Albanian structure, che, chka, chke, mirrors this evolution within a single living language, revealing the origin of Indo-European interrogatives. Okay, so now we know that. Now we know how our languages became European. Conclusion: Albanian as the key to deep syntax. Retain root phonemes, use inflection to produce contrast and questions, combine root sound, sound morph to signal opposites, queries, actions, making it a living museum of prehistoric linguistic logic. Okay? Yes, it does. Because that is what language is. Language is knowledge, it is philosophy. Okay. And now this is where this is very interesting, because we're now connecting this chi sound everywhere. Okay, so we are joining all the people in this knowledge that we once shared, and these ideas that were leading our lives. So in Chinese, Mandarin and classical Chinese, we find these sounds, because the Asiatic people decided that this sound was very significant and based their whole idea and life and understanding on it, because from this sound came all these other sounds, all these other words, where you have the meanings of breath, to eat, to soften light energy, child, seed, self, word, speech, will, wisdom, stop. Very many things suddenly come from this chi sound. Right. Central to Taoist and traditional Chinese medicine. Phonetically related but semantically distinct. And this is how where linguists and academics are ignorant. Yes, because they're overly focused on the semantics, right? They're only looking at the semantics, and they're assuming that this is just a coincidence that this sound has been used because the semantics don't match. But that is not that is not taken into consideration how language developed and why they developed the way that they did. Why did they use the grammar that they did? Why didn't they choose the same one if they all share the same logic? But that is the thing, they didn't share. They all did not share the same logic because they all did not have the same experiences. and thus the same psyche. The psyche was being also, the cognition itself, the mind, the intellect was growing. So, okay, so this we also find it in Japanese, obviously, because they are just a different form of Mandarin and a newer, more modern form with obviously some Unatu, I think it is Unatu, the natives who were there prior to their arrival. And then you have the Korean also, G, knowledge, wisdom, truth, rule, order, time, poetry, test. Very many words coming from this Qi, C, Ki, G sound cluster. We see this also in the Vietnamese ones, and and um, so yeah, this is how we're now connecting us all, and also in Thailand, as you can see. Sure, there are probably some important words here as well, because remember that not all people spoke, right? They were just living in nature, and then they learned about this idea of civilization and how you could run things and how a group can form their dynamics and social structures to better, to have a create a better or greater quality of living. And thus they began using those words. Okay, Sanskrit and Indo-European as well. This is how we're connecting all of us, right? So this to think to I am chi ji chi ji chi. This sound is very old, and I think it is also probably in where this connects with the esh, ash, ash, ch, ash, ch. Okay, ash. It is maybe, maybe, maybe this ash and sh. The, the first endings, so if you divide ash, you get ash and sh. And this sh sound would become maybe these other sounds and words, but we don't know that yet. And it probably was not the case because they did not develop the ash. And there we go. That was it for today. Thank you for listening. But this journey does not end here. Obviously, it is still ongoing. And there are many, many, many more videos that I must make. But I am now making one video for each word because there's so much knowledge and information in it and history that we need to look at it. And the reason why I've been able to connect all these things is because, as I said, I am not too overly focused on the details. Sure, the details are very important here, but the biggest, what is most important, or most vital in this task is the overview, the big picture. We want the big picture, and then we'll see how this developed into the details that linguists are so, or researchers or academics or politicians are so deeply interested in. The details are important, sure, they make up the whole big picture, but they didn't begin. They're the kids. The big picture begins, and then these all small pictures come into existence. And that is the natural order of things. So yeah, so thank you for listening. Have a good day or evening wherever you are, and see you next time. Cheers.